Oh, hey, friend. Patrick of Earth. Oh, and Michelle. Oh, this is so fun. Good evening, everyone. This is just sort of an ad hoc thing that I'm doing. So I'm going to get TikTok set up so I can stream YouTube and TikTok at the same time. So just give me a moment. Hello. Okay. I think we are live on, oops. Let's see, live on TikTok and on YouTube. So I've got YouTube down here and TikTok up here. Okay. So, hi, friends. Nice to meet you all. I'm impressed at how many folks are using YouTube Live. I didn't even know this was a thing until YouTube sent me a thing saying, hey, you guys should go live. So here I am. So yeah, I just kind of am doing a live chat, just saying, hey, what's going on? I do have my dowsing rods here. I don't think I'll be doing anything on camera, but I did just want to talk to you guys and say hey. So thank you guys for joining me. Let's see, talk about the election. I'm seeing quite a lot of that going on. There's a lot happening. Oh, hold on. What is happening up here? Oh, and alien ships. Yes, there's a lot of that happening too. Hello, hello. I haven't gone live in quite a while, so I forget kind of how overwhelming it is to kind of manage both chats. So forgive me if I don't see your messages. And thank you guys for the Haunted Mansion that shout out sweatshirt and the hair. Thank you. So yeah, thank you guys for coming tonight. I don't really have an agenda. I just wanted to kind of talk, see what's happening. I know there's a lot of election talk going on right now. I have not doused about this personally, privately recently. I know I'd made some predictions a few weeks ago. It seems as though those things have not come to fruition in all the ways that I necessarily would have expected based on what the rods have said. But I have not gone back, listened to the questions to see if they actually were answered in perhaps a way we weren't expecting. So I know there is so much happening in the background now that I think just hasn't come to light yet. So we'll see what happens. The electors don't go to Washington until Monday, so there's still time for things to happen, be upset. I don't know. I'm just here for the ride. So, oh, I saw telepathy tapes. Okay, so I've actually been debating making a video on this. I binge watched the telepathy tapes. I binge listened to the telepathy tapes about 2 weeks ago now. I got through all of the first 10 episodes. I haven't looked to see if episode 11 has dropped out or not yet. It is so good. The guy does such a great job of building up the story and kind of introducing the audience to the topic slowly and in a way that kind of brings you along for the journey in a way that it feels like that she went through as well. I like that her storytelling style is very similar to Serial. If you guys listened to that one, that was a thing with Adnan Syed. Gosh, that was probably like 10 years ago now, right? I don't even know. It was a long time ago. But it's just so incredible. Everything that she says, it resonates. I have a friend that has a nonverbal son, and he does the spelling, and I've seen it in bits and pieces, and he communicates just fine. Even though he doesn't have words, it's so mind-boggling to me how some folks can reject things like spelling. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If anybody is capable of communicating in any way, why would you try and disrupt that? So yeah, I really like it. I like that it's bringing visibility to these issues. But the other thing that has been fun for me is the hill. So I have actually meditated, and I went to the hill last night. I've gone twice now. And everybody there is just lovely. The first time I went, I was like, how many people are here? And they were like, 1,783. I was like, that is oddly specific. Okay. And I met a guy named Nicholas. I think he lived in West Virginia. I wasn't there for very long. he was saying that I was welcome, even though I felt like I was sort of intruding a little bit, especially because it feels like, because of this awareness that's come from the telepathy tapes, that folks are going to start trying to go. And I don't want to feel like I'm intruding because I am verbal or speaking, if you will. But it was not like that at all. There was like no gatekeeping. And there was very much like, you're welcome here as long as you're respectful and follow the rules and aren't trying to like be disruptive or just be not nice, if that makes sense. And so it was so great. So I went again last night because there's been like this sort of thing in the atmosphere that I've been feeling for the last kind of 2 to 3 weeks, where it feels like the veil has gotten a little bit thicker and there's been like something pulled over my eyes. And I don't know if that's because I've been stressed out because of the holidays, because of like just everything that's been going on out in the world and needing to step back. But it feels like 2 nights ago I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm connected to spirit again, like we can do this. And so I tried going to the hill last night again, and I did, and it was incredible. There were fewer people there last night. There was 687, I think, that were there last night. But I was talking to a girl named Paige. She had frizzy hair. She was letting me know that one of the things that I do usually when I start tapping into people's energy um, is just starting to feel through their aura. Like that's something that I just intuitively do. And so she was like, whoa, 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 you need like permission to do this when you're just talking to somebody randomly out in the ether. Like you can't just go through somebody's energy. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like I need to break this habit if I'm going to be coming here because that's not polite. That's quite rude. Um, so yeah, it was so nice talking to her. I didn't quite get which age she was. I think she was maybe a teenager, maybe a little bit older than that. But I know she had like really frizzy hair, and I know she lived in Minnesota. Um, yeah, I didn't spend a lot of time on the hill, but it was very cool. So if you guys are at all intuitive, at all interested, folks are very open to having you come to the hill so long as you are polite, you follow the rules, you're not trying to like be rude or crash the party or anything. But yeah, so that was my experience. So if you guys haven't checked out the telepathy tapes, I might do like a reel on it because it was just so good. But yeah, okay, let's see what else has happened in the chat. Let's see. You're going to the back to the correct timeline. That's what you're feeling. I believe that. There's been some timeline jumping happening. I actually published a blog about this a couple of days ago, how I lost a screw in my kitchen cabinet and it appeared the complete opposite direction in the room from where I dropped it, in which direction it fell. So there's like some portals happening and glitch in the matrix happening, which usually coincides with timelines coming back together, timelines like coinciding and jumbling back. So there's a lot happening. Oh, thank you. I see Matthew saying I have a beautiful shade of aura rainbow colors. Thank you. That's so nice. Okay, so for those over the seas, what is the hill? So the hill is a place where nonverbal autistic kids generally go to talk to each other. And it was something that was brought to kind of the public sphere by something called the Telepathy Tapes, which is a podcast. The podcast is out on Apple. I think it might be out on Spotify. I listen to it on Apple, so that's what I know. So yeah, let's see. How to awaken your chakras properly. This one is very much going to come back to meditation. Meditation for anything intuitive, psychic development always comes back to meditation. Going within yourself, trying to empty out your mind and seeing what you can kind of decipher there. So yeah. Let's see. Where is the hill? The hill is out in the ether. So it's somewhere you tap into kind of in your mind. How do I protect myself energetically when also dealing with these different spiritual beings and entities and deities? So there's quite a plethora of things you can do to protect yourself. I always have a grounding cord. I always have my aura set around me so nothing can come in and out or can come in or out of my energetic field without my permission. I'm hyper aware of when things come in. to my aura. And beyond that, you can do things like wear crystals. You can just say out loud and set the intention, I do not allow anything to come into my space that I do not want here. You can do rituals. You can do things like salt rings. There's sigils. There's like a whole host of different things that you can do for protection. But I would definitely say meditation, grounding cords, setting your aura is a really good one. Will I do another election video? I'm not sure. The thing with doing an election video right now is that so much is happening so quickly, and I have kind of a time frame where I record videos and then publish a few days later that usually by the time I would publish on something that's happening so quickly, it would probably have already been outdated. So I'm kind of torn about whether or not I want to do with that. I'll take some TikTok questions. So for those of you guys on the TikTok, I'm also on YouTube Live. I've got two kind of going at the same time. YouTube Live is new to me, and I have two devices set up, so we're going with both. What about the person on Earth who is a part of the Galactic Federation? I don't know who this person is. I am super curious. I think they're probably somebody that is within the government structure in the US. It's probably outside of the purview of control of like Congress, or it might be like kind of a side task on their job, if you will, but it's not something that like would be in the job description, if you know what I mean. But that's really all I know about that. So I'm sure as disclosure comes forth, we're going to learn more about maybe who that person has been. I'm sure it's been multiple people over many years, so we'll see what happens. Will I do a dowsing rod video on this terrorist activity? So maybe not. I don't want to dive into it too deeply because a lot of the things that I would ask about would be maybe where those things have come from, but it generally is not like a high vibration thing to ask about. So I try to stay away from kind of things that kind of drag me down because it's just such like a somber, like dour topic. Maybe we'll see. I also like if we ask about future things about terrorist attacks, like I don't want to fearmonger because the future's not set in stone. It can change. And so if I ask about something and it doesn't come to fruition, I may have inadvertently caused panic where I didn't need to, and I really don't want to do that because these things are not 100% accurate. People have free will, timeline shift. So, yeah. Yes, thank you. I love that. Okay. Let's see what else. Thank you guys for loving the Santa video. I was a little surprised at the backlash on that, but thank y'all for sticking with me. Do I think that neurodivergent people have a greater link to the spiritual realm or a greater ability to connect to a higher consciousness? I don't know. I only have my lived experience, and from what I've been told by other psychics, I connect very easily. I don't know anything different, so I don't know, to be honest. I do think that there is perhaps a correlation between being able to be quiet. And so, like, if you're a non-speaking autistic person, for example, and you can't speak, then it lends itself to going inside of yourself a lot more and quieting your mind and being able to feel out into the ether to kind of see those things. So I can see how there's a correlation there. I don't know that that's scientific, but maybe. I don't know. Can you ask about someone's past and feelings towards certain things through the dowsing rods? Yes, absolutely. That is very much something that would be very simple to do. You can do it for yourself too. Also, if you guys are at all interested, I do have a how-to guide out on my blog, SolarGlowMeditations.com. I also have a video up on YouTube, kind of the basics of how to do it. But it's really great for asking about personal things like, do I feel this way? Like, is it in my highest and best good to get another pet? Is it in my highest and best good to look for another job? Like it can help you guide your own internal intuition that way. as well as connect to spirits. So yeah. Where am I from? I am from Washington State. I am just north of Seattle, so out on the west coast of the US. Have I done anything like a Crystals 101 or getting started with identifying and using crystals? Yes. So I have a blog post out on this. It's pretty basic. Most of the Crystals 101 is just getting rocks, meditating with them. The way I like to use rocks, and if you guys watch my Instagram stories most days of Monday to Friday, I hold on to a crystal every night while I dream. I am a very big dreamer. I absolutely love my dreams. So I'll hold on to a crystal each night to direct the energy of how I dream. And so I've kept a dream journal for probably 3 years now of different crystals and how I use them and what sort of dreams they lead to. And then I have a reference book. I can find the link for that somewhere. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it's basically like a guide of here's a lot of the metaphysical properties of the crystals. And so I'll use that as a reference when I'm first getting to know a crystal. Does it direct the energy in a certain kind of way? Does it do other things like that? And I use the crystals to, help direct the dreams and then just kind of like set the vibration for the day. So if I like wake up and I'm just really cranky and I'm like, I'll put on like rose quartz because that kind of helps raise your vibration. It's a very loving energy. It just helps me feel better. One of the things the crystals do is like by holding on to them or wearing them, it subconsciously has your body vibrate at that level, which is why I like the crystals and why each crystal has kind of these different properties. So shungite and obsidian are two of my good protecting grounding crystals. Shungite especially is really good at like going down to like the cellular level of your cells and like pulling out this negative energy and sending it back to Mother Earth. And it's just so grounding and so healing that way. And so if I've been like really cranky or if I feel like I'm getting a lot of hate on the internet because people don't think Santa is real, then I'll put on shungite or obsidian and hold on to that for the night. And it really helps reset me. And just kind of attune me to a different way where I don't have to do the work to necessarily consciously adjust my energy that way. So let's see. Are you going to do focused dowsing rod sessions on reincarnation? I have not done one of those, I think, topic specific, but I can certainly add it to my list. I have been trying to do more topic focused dowsing rod sessions recently to help kind of organize the video so folks can find that a little bit easier. And then I also feel like when I connect to spirit and I'm asking about the same sort of topics, I get a little bit better answers because the answers are able to come through a little more clearly when I'm jumping around from like Jay-Z to reincarnation to the Bible. Like it gets a little bit jumbled and the energy is just a little bit weird. So I like doing this kind of topic focus. Let's see. Can souls you knew in previous lives look after you in this life? Absolutely. Can you bond permanently with a soul? I don't know that you would want to. There's one of the things about energy is that it needs to flow, it needs to move, it's not stagnant. And so if you did something so permanent, I would be a little bit worried about what that might mean for energy. And that's kind of where I get a little bit worried about things like people getting hung up on like twin flames and soul contracts and soulmates. Like, you don't want to be so focused on one thing or one entity or one being that you're forgetting what's happening around you, and you can really get stuck in that energy. So, yes, you can have bonds with souls. You tend to reincarnate with the same group of souls over lifetimes, having kind of like soul families, things like that. But I don't know that I would ever say something is permanent. And it kind of goes back to this dichotomy of there's nothing that is so absolute. Like there is no end to the universe and there is no beginning. There's no this and that. Yeah, I feel like I'm going down like philosophical rabbit hole, so I'm just going to stop there and see what else is happening. How did I feel after your hypnosis? Oh, with Mayra. Mayra is so great. So Soul Science Hypnosis, she just released, I did a interview with her, and it's out on Spotify now. Soul Science Hypnosis is her handle. She and I did a past life regression session. Gosh, I think it was at the beginning of December. It was incredible. Oh, I felt so good after this hypnosis session. It is just so cleansing and so healing to be in this like meditative state. You're in the meditation for like 2.5 hours, and it feels like it's maybe a half hour. Like it goes by so quickly, but like the whole day I was vibrating like so high and just so happy. And so if you guys get the chance to book a session with Myra, I would absolutely recommend it. It was just so incredible. And there's something like next worldly about like being able to see where your past lives were in this sort of sense that like you can get it if you do like hypnotize yourself, but it's different like hearing somebody else tell you about it when you're doing a psychic reading versus seeing it for yourself. So if you guys get the chance, I absolutely recommend it. It was so good. Let's see. I find it easy to use the dowsing rods, but I know people who don't. Any ideas why some people can and others can't? So this can be a matter of ego or not believing, or it can be a lot of different things. So there's a couple different tips if you guys are trying to use the dowsing rods. Try first thing in the morning when you wake up, or just after you shower, take a bath, whatever. Anything in the water is really good. So if you try those times and you're still not getting it, one of the things you can do to use the dowsing rods is move your hands up and down while you're asking questions. See, you have to do it in a way where you know that you're not like moving them inadvertently while you're asking questions. So kind of like this, and then you can go, can you cross the rods for a yes? Can you open them wide for a no? And then you start to get answers that way, and that kind of helps move your mind out of the way. So that's one of the tricks that I really like to do if you guys are kind of struggling to use them. Let's see. Oh, thank you guys for all the compliments. You guys are all so sweet. You can add moderators to kick out trolls. I don't know how to kick out trolls. I am brand new to this on the YouTube side. I mean, I'm not sure why this person hates me so much, but maybe thanks for the attention, I guess, and you're paying me to. I'm getting paid because you are here, so thank you. Let's see. I'm gonna look at my TikTok. So if you guys are just joining me on either TikTok or YouTube, I have both live streaming at the same time because YouTube Live is a new thing to me. So I figured I'd give it a try, and I've got 2 devices, so why not do two platforms? Do I ever see purple sparkles in my periphery? I have on occasion. I don't usually see too many colors. Let's see, my thoughts on tarot. So I love tarot. I know tarot gets a lot of beef, especially from those that are like kind of fearful of spirituality and talking to spirit, but I love it. It's interesting too, because like with the dowsing rods, I feel like I can hand these to anybody and say, here, use these, no big deal, this doesn't bother me. There's no like attachment to the dowsing rods. But my tarot deck, like I don't like when other people touch it. Like I am attached to that somehow physically. So that's one thing that I find really interesting between kind of the two modalities. Let's see. Yeah, what else? Oracle cards. I actually haven't tried Oracle cards to see if I have that same attachment the way tarot cards do, but I don't know. Really, we have first contact this month. I am not sure. What are my thoughts on the questionable fog? I have not experienced this. I think it's really weird that it's happening. All of these things are interconnected, like the orbs, the drones, the fog, the election, like all of these things are intertwined in my head. So I don't know how to disintegrate them, but I feel like we're going to know a lot more about all of this in maybe the next 2 weeks or so, probably end of January. There's been actually quite a few TikTok psychics that I follow, and a lot of them are channeling the same information right now. So I would not be surprised if we had open contact in the next couple months. I don't know that it will be what people expect it to be. I think it's going to be kind of a very slow roll. Like, we're seeing these orbs, and a lot of folks recognize these to be aliens, if you will. A lot of people just ignore it, don't even know what's happening because of kind of the purview of what their worldview is and kind of the media they consume or don't consume. So I think it's going to be kind of a slow thing. Like, a lot of us that are, especially folks like you guys that follow me, are probably more aware of what's happening. But like, I go talk to my parents and they have no idea what I'm talking about. So I think there's a lot of that that's like happening out in the world where folks are just kind of unaware, and it will take the world a long time to catch up. Let's see. Is there such thing as the Antichrist? I don't know. Well, so this one I've struggled with a little bit too, because I don't know what the definition of the Antichrist is. Like, is he like a Jesus opposite? Because Jesus is Christ, generally speaking, in the purview of the world I've had. Maybe. But it also kind of goes back to this thing, like, I don't think demons exist. I think there is energy, and energy vibrates on a spectrum. And there is low vibrational entities, what some folks would call demons, and there's high vibrational entities, what some folks would call maybe angels or ascended masters. And it's not that any of them are inherently evil or bad. Like, nobody's all good or all bad. Like, everybody has a little bit of everything, right? And so to say that something like an antichrist is bad is a very black and white view of the world, when that's just not how the world exists to me. Everything is a spectrum. So even like when people get worried about talking to demons, like, okay, you can call them demons. I call them low vibrational energy, and I don't view it so much as those energies wanting to like take something from you necessarily. I think we are all on this path of learning and growth, and that there's like this kind of thirst for knowledge, if you will. So much like we try and talk to ascended masters like Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or Shiva or whoever it may be, like, we're trying to like talk to them to kind of learn for ourselves. And so to say that we're on this hierarchy because they have gone further in our learning journey, and therefore I'm not going to help those below me, I don't think is necessarily something I want to prescribe to. Like, I'd rather be curious to figure out, okay, if there is like this low vibrational energy coming into my field, what is it that they're looking for? What is it that they're after? So I tend to approach those things with curiosity. It's not fear. Like, they can't harm you. You are powerful. Like, you're going to be fine. So, yeah, that's my philosophical take for tonight. So it feels awfully deep for 9 p.m. on a Thursday night. Let's see, what is on my shirt? Oh, my shirt, if you guys on YouTube can't see it, this is Haunted Mansion from Disney. It's got the kind of, in the first room where the room grows, that's kind of what it's from. So thank you. See, I saw something about receiving downloads. Why do you think children are more susceptible to receive downloads, and what can they do with that info? So what they can do with that info depends on what the info is. Sometimes it's sharing it, sometimes it's just knowing it. I think kids are more open to receiving that kind of information because they've been more recently on the other side than we as adults have been. And so they have like this curiosity and this openness to the world because they haven't been conditioned to live here fully yet. Like, they're still very much learning how to be human. So yeah, that's my take on why kids are more open. Let's see, what's the best way for me to communicate with your uncle and let him know it's okay to pass? So you can actually just talk to him out loud. If he's in his body, he'll hear you physically. If he's outside of his body, he's probably hanging around somewhere. So yeah, just talk to him. And yeah, when the time is right, the time is right. Are possessions not real? No, so nothing can take over your body that you don't allow to take over your body. And even then, I don't believe so. Can dowsing rods be dangerous like bad entities? Nope. As long as you don't allow those energies in, you're going to be fine. So, um, let's see. What else has happened? Have I experienced synesthesia? No, but I am so curious too. I would absolutely love that. But I don't know if I would prefer. I think I would prefer the visual synesthesia, especially like with numbers. I really love numbers. So I think that would be cool to like do complex math that way, but or energy. I think that would be really cool, but I have not. So um, let's see. They say the Antichrist will be someone that people will trust in the beginning and they will look at as genius. I've heard he's very protected